Pokemon's newest set, Pitch Black, is finally upon us, and the question is, should you put your hard-earned dollars into it and invest? Let's take a look here, and I'm going to compare it with the other sets that have come out this year for Mega Evolution, and we'll take a look and see if this set is good enough to stand on its own two legs, or no legs, I guess, here, if you're flying in the air like Darkrai is. And I'm going to compare it to the more recent sets, taking a look especially at Chaos Rising. That's kind of where I think it falls more in line with. Chaos Rising, maybe better than Perfect Order, but not as good as the first two Mega Evolution sets here on Phantasmal Flames, and of course the first Mega Evolution set itself. So that's what we're going to kind of take a look at and analyze here and see if the big chase card, especially this really awesome Mega Darkrai, can stand and deliver on this set. So first, let's just kind of take a look at some of the other cards. So obviously Darkrai is the big chase card here. We also have Mega Zorora right here, which is, I mean, I think this card is cool. I don't think this is a popular Pokemon by any means. Whether that is something that you agree with, you can let me know. But the other one, Chandelure, is certainly a popular Pokemon. Not huge popular, but definitely popular in its own respect. So let's kind of go through some of the previous Mega Evolution sets to see how it stands up. Now, I won't focus too much on the pricing because the pricing, the newer the sets, the prices are going to fluctuate, especially when all of the Mega Evolution sets that have come out over the last year have come out, obviously, over the last year, right? So let's take a look at this Mega Venusaur, for example. If I go back to when it first came out, obviously the prices were super high, coming in at over 200 bucks. Then they drop over the ensuing months, dropping into this kind of low to mid 100, $130 range, and then it slowly climbs again. So you can't really look at the prices because they fluctuate so much within a year of when the sets release. So it wouldn't be helpful because obviously the first Mega Evolution set is going to have higher prices overall. I'm just looking at the market prices right here. Look at all these cards coming in at over 150, over 100 bucks, give or take right here. So you got six cards all over $100, which is fantastic, right? But if I go to like Chaos Rising, that's not true. You have the Greninja, the two Greninja cards coming in over 200 bucks, and that's it. And then it falls down to the Cincino under $100. That's not really indicative of the overall market's taste for these cards itself. It's just indicative of how recent the cards are. So if you looked at a set that was over a few years old, right, something from Scarlet and Violet, especially if you looked at Sword and Shield, then that would give you a bigger idea of how that set is doing. AKA hindsight is 2020, obviously. So we can't really rely on just the market data to determine whether or not a set is successful. Because honestly, all of the sets are going to be successful investments. If you buy something at MSRP or close to it, and you hold for a few years, 5 years, 10 years, if you have the wherewithal for that, then of course it's going to come up in price, right? That's kind of obvious at this point. That's what we're seeing with the Pokemon card market. But we'll still do a little bit of a fool's errand here and take a look at how this new Pitch Black set is going to compare and where it compares favorably with the other Mega Evolution sets. And as I said previously, I think it's going to be more in the Chaos Rising realm of sets. It won't be as big as the first Mega Evolution set, which I do think is a really good set. Honestly, I think it's maybe even underrated. I know the prices here are super high, so it's like, well, how could it be underrated? Because I don't think people necessarily look at Mega Evolutions, the first set, and think, wow, this is an amazing set. It's Ascended Heroes, it's Phantasmal Flames, it's, Destined Rivals. I don't think people look at it in that same realm, but I think that it could be just a hair under. I mean, you have Lucario, Gardevoir, Venusaur, you have Latios. Those are big Pokemon. So, I don't think Pitch Black is going to fall in that realm. I don't think it'll fall in Phantasmal Flames either. Darkrai is not Charizard. Nothing is Charizard, obviously. So I wouldn't put it there. Instead, I would put it like above Perfect Order and just about the same level of Chaos Rising. I think I think it and Chaos Rising, Pitch Black and Chaos Rising, are really similar. A nice big chase card at the top, a pitter patter of other cards that are not bad as well, and that's pretty much where it comfortably sits. I think that's exactly what Pitch Black is going to be, which is to say, it's like a good set. It's not an amazing set. It's not Ascended Heroes. It's not Phantasmal Flames. It's not even going to be Mega Evolutions, but it'll be just below those. So it'll be like an average to good set, I think, is where it'll fall. I put Perfect Order below all of those for these Mega Evolution sets. I think most people would probably agree with that. And I don't even think that Perfect Order is a bad set itself. It's just that it doesn't have any like wow factor. I mean, if Meowth is your biggest card, I like Meowth a lot. That's not really going to be a big thing. When like the big poster child of this set is Zygarde, and look, even like the Zygarde cards aren't even exploding. And I think this card right here, this card is really, really cool. This Mega Zygarde card, I mean, but yet you can get it for 70 bucks. That's kind of surprising to me. So I would say the Pitch Black is above Perfect Order, but it really slots in very comfortably with Chaos Rising, the most recent set. So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at some of the offerings here of what it's got. We'll take a look at the illustrated rares first, because I do think it has some nice ones. It has Armarouge right here, and I think this one's pretty cool. I actually like Armarouge more than Ceruledge. I don't know if that's a popular opinion. And it has this Goldeen. So many Goldeen fans out there. I kind of feel like this could be like a little fan favorite card, just because it's kind of funny. Goldeen. I can see this one hitting like 20 bucks at some point. It wouldn't be that surprising if it got there within a year. If it started out at like 5 to 10 bucks. Primarina here. This one's also nice, but Primarina is not a major starter Pokemon. I know that this Slowbro card is big for competitive. I won't go into how the competitive prices, those who actually play the card game, matches into collectability for investing. That's a whole nother conversation. Delmies right here. Are there any Delmies fans out there? Although I do think this card is cool. The artwork's nice. Cool Ghost Pokemon in the back. But I would say that the illustration rares are maybe, let's say, average. I don't think there's anything crazy here, honestly. I mean, are there a lot of fans of Bastiodon? I don't know. So I would say average-ish, maybe not even average, maybe a touch below. The illustration rares, nothing crazy. Silvally right here. So this is obviously sliding heavily on a bunch of those Sun and Moon Pokemon, as well as a bunch of the OGs, right? Goldeen, Slowbro. But that's about it. So yeah, IRs, the illustration rares, nothing to get too excited over. So you're really looking at the kind of poster children, Zeraora, Chandelure, and Darkrai. So are those enough to carry the set? Well, Zeraora is not. I mean, I don't think Zeraora is a very popular Pokemon at all. So I wouldn't even factor that one in. I think Chandelure is a cool Pokemon. I think there's definitely popularity around Chandelure, and the Mega Chandelure is a pretty cool form. So that's why I compare it with Chaos Rising, because Chaos Rising, like if you look at the other poster children of this set, I guess, the Floette, Mega Dragolage, like is Dragolage a popular Pokemon? No. I've never heard someone say, "Oh man, I love Dragolage," and Mega Dragolage just took it to a next level. So that's why I kind of put it very similar to Chaos Rising. And I think that Chaos Rising actually has some nice illustration rares. I think this Ampharos is probably underrated. I think Ampharos is a somewhat popular Pokemon, not super popular or anything, but I think that card's nice. And it's got the Froakie, Frogadier. But even as I go through this, I'm just like, where am I seeing the value? I don't know. Like, how many of these illustration rares are going to go up in value? I mean, Claydol, Matang, Sliggoo, these are just not heavy hitting Pokemon. So that's why I would say that Chaos Rising and Pitch Black are going to be good, but that's average to good is probably where they kind of slot in. So not as good as the preceding sets before it. And just to go back up here, Chaos Rising has this Encino EX card. I'm surprised at the price. I know, yeah, special illustration rare. I get that. I'm surprised at the price in that it's as high as it is, as early as it is. I mean, if I go back to how long it's been out, which is obviously a really short amount of time, yeah, it's just going down, 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 down. That's not surprising. It'll eventually rise like everything does, but I'm kind of surprised that this is like, I guess because they're kind of like squeezing for like, where is the value in Chaos Rising? If it's not Greninja, where else is the value? So you're just going to look at the other special illustration rares, the Mega Dragalage and the Cincino and the Mega Floette, and it's just not enough to pull it up fully, like not the way that like a Mega Evolution is. And again, I'm not even going to look at the values because yeah, the prices are going to be a lot higher because the prices have had time to jump back up. So it's more of a question of, well, what are the other rare cards? And I think Lucario, Gardevoir, Venusaur, Lily right here, yeah, those are much heavier hitters than what you have in Chaos Rising and our new set here on Pitch Black. So what it all will ultimately come down to then, obviously, are the special illustration rares on here. And, they're okay. I kind of touched upon this at the beginning. But yeah, obviously, it's going to be heavily lifted by this card. This is the type of set, just like Chaos Rising was, that is like super, super top heavy. Like it's the chase card and then it's everything else. Whereas if you look at Mega Evolutions, it's not really like that. You have a bunch of really nice cards. Gardevoir, Lucario, the Venusaur's, Lily, even Mega Absol here, Mega Kangaskhan. I mean, those are cool Pokemon. People like those. So it's not a super, super top heavy set. It's pretty spread out with a bunch of high value cards, but not just high value cards, because again, I'm not just looking at the price, but popular Pokemon overall. That's something that Chaos Rising and Pitch Black don't have. They have like the one Super Chase card right here. And boy, is this a Super Chase card. I think this card is absolutely fantastic. I think Darkrai is popular. It's personally one of my favorite Pokemon. So I love this card. I don't think Mega Darkrai itself is that cool, but this puts Mega Darkrai in a really cool light, I guess. The design on it is absolutely fantastic, intimidating as can be. This artist really captured Igawa. I know that's a really popular artist, really captured kind of like the intimidation factor of Mega Darkrai and Darkrai itself. Didn't play too much upon like the design of Darkrai. That's why it's kind of not like the big feature of the card. It's kind of like everything around the card itself. So that's why I think that Pitch Black will be a good set, just like Chaos Rising is a good set. And I don't even think that this Mega Greninja card is all that special. Honestly, I think it's cool, but I don't think it's anything like fantastic. That's why if I had to say like which is the better in investing set between Chaos Rising and Pitch Black, I mean it's tough. I really think they're so like equal. I guess I'm gonna go. I think I'll go Pitch Black. That if you had both of them at MSRP, like a booster box or ETB or something, which one would it be? I guess I would go with Pitch Black because this card is so cool. I think it's gonna be so iconic that it just gives it like a little bit of an edge over it. Of course, you can look at what the promo card is for the Pokemon Center ETB, the stamped, or just the regular promo ETB card, and that might change your opinion a little bit on there, which is perfectly fine, makes a lot of sense. But I guess if you could get like any of these at MSRP, and the reason I didn't put Ascended Heroes on here is because obviously Ascended Heroes is awesome. I don't really think that needs to be said. I could have, but I mean, obviously it's fantastic. So I kind of try to look at the other ones. Um, but if you had to, like between Chaos Rising and Pitch Black, I might go Pitch Black. But I really don't think that the illustrated rares are like really anything fantastic. I mean, it's not really carried by anything great. Um, it does have the Misty card right here. Obviously, Misty is super popular. That one will be slotted in. Gladion is here. He's not as popular as Misty, obviously, but that's kind of why I would look at those two because if you had a choice, right, between Pitch Black, Chaos Rising, Perfect Order, and you kind of group those all as like a B minus to B tier set. That's kind of what you're looking at. Because Phantasmal Flames, Mega Evolution, and especially Ascended Heroes, those are going to be like the other, like an A tier. That's kind of the way I view it. I think the market is certainly viewing it. Maybe some people might say that Mega Evolution, the first set, is a bit lower than that. Maybe that's like a B plus tier. That might make sense. But if you had to choose between Pitch Black, Chaos Rising, Perfect Order, I'd probably go Pitch Black, Chaos Rising, and then obviously Perfect Order. So Perfect Order would sit at the bottom. However, there is absolutely value in the less in the sets that are less desirable, right? Like even a set like Perfect Order, which most people, let's be honest, don't love, still has value and will still rise in price. It's just a question of how much will it rise comparable to something like a Chaos Rising or Ascended Heroes. Now, obviously, it's not going to reach Ascended Heroes levels. I mean, there's no way that's going to happen, right? Um, but if I bring up Ascended Heroes on here, just give me a second. And again, I didn't even pull up Ascended Heroes because like it's kind of obvious that this is the big set. So I didn't even feel like I had to go show that. I'll show it anyway. As you can see, if you just compare it, nothing is as big as Ascended Heroes. I mean, again, I wouldn't worry too much about the values, but if you wanted to look at the values, you're not going to do much better than like the top three being over $800. So obviously, Ascended Heroes is huge. But if you could find Ascended Heroes at MSRP, yeah, you would snatch it up in 2 seconds. So I wouldn't even expect that you could. If I just drop the cards and look at the sealed products, I'm just curious, like, what does an ETB go for? Not the Pokemon Center one, but like a regular ETB, 166. Okay, that sounds about right. Let's pull up. Let's pull up. We'll pull up Chaos Rising. Let's see how Chaos Rising is for their ETBs. So their ETBs are 70. Yeah, that makes sense. So the Ascended is over twice the amount. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if I had to look at like Chaos Rising, Pitch Black, and Pitch Black is probably going to have a similar ETB point of around 70 to $80, or Ascended Heroes at 160, I might just go Ascended Heroes overall. But if you don't have enough, to splurge on a very expensive ETB, and that is very expensive for an ETB that should price at what, like 50, $60, then yeah, you're looking more at Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, and obviously our new set here of Pitch Black. And then I would probably focus again on Pitch Black. I think that is where I would put my money. I think that's pretty reasonable, but my ultimate, I guess if I had to like conclude, I would say you can't really go wrong. I mean, any of these three sets are, like I said, kind of that B minus to B range, good, but not like amazing, not like Phantasmal Flames, Ascended Heroes, and obviously the first Mega Evolution set. That's why they're more value, right? They're more value plays. If you're going to invest in like a B tier set, then yeah, it's going to be cheaper, but it's not going to have as many big heavy hitters. So it's going to be more top heavy, and this one is top heavy. It has like this one super awesome card. Chaos Rising has the one big card at the top. Perfect Order. I mean, this is why I don't put it in the same tier, but it does have the cool Meowth, which is a really cool card. I love it. I don't think I would spend $150 on it, but that's why I put Perfect Order at the bottom. So that is kind of my assessment on everything with the new Pitch Black set. I did use Cerebi on here because I thought it was like a more convenient way of kind of looking at the cards overall. But why don't you tell me in the comments down there or shoot me a message on Instagram? Let me know. What do you think between these last three sets on here? Chaos Rising, Perfect Order, and of course, on the new big set on here, Pitch Black. What do you think? If you had to choose between those three, and I'm excluding Ascended Heroes again, because obviously that one is a humongous set, but if you had to choose between these three, does this Abyssai right here, the Darkrai, Mega Darkrai card, have enough to edge out those other two sets, Perfect Order and Chaos Rising? What do you think? Let me know. Thank you for watching along with this video, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.